get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Hear me well on this day. This day when you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education. You would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. If it's meant for you, God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Press on with pride and press on with purpose and appreciate what God has brought you through.
The pain of our past persists to this day. In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. It was used to kill my ancestors. Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first Black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. My opponent, the very person who compared expanded health care to slavery. The person who said he would have opposed the Civil Rights Act. The person who single-handedly blocked an anti-lynching act from being federal law. The choice couldn't be clearer. Do we move forward together, or do we let politicians like Rand Paul forever hold us back and drive us apart? In November, we will choose healing. We will choose Kentucky.
Community stand up. Sharing, loving, hoping, and working together. Growing, supporting each other through stormy weather. Making leaps and bounds through advocacy. Spreading joy and awareness for all to see. There's no community without you and me. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We build each other up. We expand our networking and resources. We never give up. We stand for what is right. We never go down without a fight. The African proverb says, it takes a village to raise a child. I say, it takes a village to become a community. So community, please stand up. We are waiting.
Oh yeah. Just get on board. Hear me now. People, get ready for the train to come. Picking up passengers from coast to coast. All you need is a little faith to hear the deeds or humming. Don't need no ticket, just get on board. People, get ready for the train to Jordan. Picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors at boredom. There's room for all among those loved the most. I believe, oh I believe, I believe, oh yeah, yeah, I believe, I believe, oh you don't need no ticket to just get on board, hear me now. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind just to save it alone. A pity on those whose chances grow slimmer, for there's no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. So people.
Basketball is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all sports wager information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to receive your rewards. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. Tell them the Noisemaker sent you.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this movement up back in again. I can make it round the world with the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. The Popcorn World. Welcome to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. Noise, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother Noise, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle Noise, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ.
2, 1, ready, come on.
Good people of Noise Land, how are you today? Man, it's good to see you all. We're here, you're here. Must be a good day. You know why it's a good day? Because the sun is shining brighter, the birds are tweeting louder, and the clouds, the dark clouds, have all dissipated. You know why? Is that how you know? Okay. And motorcycles are avoiding the house, which is also a good thing. Bottom line is Louisville is off the schneid. And that's really all that matters today. We are off the schneid. Life can resume back to normal. There you go. What, Mama Noy? Why are you looking around like that?
We're off the what?
The schneid.
Okay. I'm going to ask the question that everyone else is asking. What is that?
The schneid? You never heard the term the schneid?
That would be 3 times that you've said it, and it's still not any more clear than it
I'm
was.
shocked that both of you are shaking your head as if you don't know what the schneid is. The schneid. Am I pronouncing it wrong? No, I'm not pronouncing it wrong. The losing streak. It's a Jewish term. The slang. The schneid. It's Yiddish. Why are you looking like that?
Why you just didn't say it? You're losing streak.
Because the schneid is better. The schneid.
Hey, man, you better be careful saying anything.
You can use Yiddish. I can use Yiddish. I'm not demeaning the culture. I'm just saying Yiddish.
If you mispronouncing it, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm not mispronouncing it. It's called schneid. Matter of fact, a Jewish person would come on here right now and say your Yiddish is up to par. It's on point.
Would they now?
They would. They would.
Hmm.
Yes, they would. They would say schneid.
They would say, leave it to the professionals.
Whatever. Okay. Anyway, the bottom line is it's a good day. We broke the news first this morning on Believe in the ACC, talking about Louisville has been not vindicated because technically, though they were not heavily punished today, they've been punished. They really have. I mean, if we're being honest, 6 years is a long time.
To be penalized. To be penalized?
I mean, what to wait on a penalty? And then you had to penalize yourself. And it costs you recruits, it costs you money. All total, what you think? If you had to put a dollar amount, I said the dollar amount was anywhere between $25 and $50 million, maybe even $100 million that they lost in these last 5 years.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
You take in consideration the number of recruits. So that's the number of losses, unsuccessful tournament appearances because of their lack of talent, because of their lack of recruiting, because of the allegations of NCAA. So it all just ties in together.
Right.
So if you're not winning ACC championships and you're not faring well down the NCAA tournament, you're losing out on revenue opportunities. So
absolutely, and that's all I was saying. So yeah, it's been a rough 5 years, say the least.
Yeah, what, 2015, 16,
Something like that. Yep.
17,
Yeah.
whatever. It's been way too long, and I don't want to drag the show down. And I know Mama Noise. When we start talking sports on this hour, so I'll just say I'm just glad it's behind us.
Yeah, that's all. I was just mentioning it. That's all. No. I wasn't trying to make a thing out of it, but I just wanted to mention it. It's a good day if you are a Louisville fan, which many of our listeners are. So, that's all. That's all we was trying to do. But Mama Noise, I did not start the show in the way that I normally do. How are you doing today?
I'm well.
Okay, well then there's that. We need a song specifically tied to Mama Noise, I'm well. Albie, how are you doing today? You good? Everything's good?
I'm good, man. One more day closer to the weekend. This so happens to be a 4-day weekend, so
Oh, that's right. Because
I anticipate the 5:30 hour on tomorrow.
Is the 4-day for you start? Is it on the 4th day on Monday or is it on tomorrow? Because tomorrow's a holiday.
Yeah,
Right?
No, tomorrow is not a holiday for us.
Monday.
We work tomorrow. We're off Monday and Tuesday.
Y'all Monday. Oh, y'all Monday. Well, amen. Let the church say amen. All right. Speaking of the church, let me get White Guitarist up in here. Let him do his thing. And we had a long talk, by the way. To let the noisemakers know, we had a long talk. We worked through. He said he don't do racism. He don't see all that. His kids are black. His wife is black. He grew up in a black neighborhood. He ain't tripping. So, and he likes Joel Osteen. So there you go. So all is well.
That's where you lost him.
Well, listen. He said he can relate. He said, "Who among us don't know corny white people?" What, Mama Noise? Joel's a little corny. Y'all know Joel's a little corny. I mean, in a good way. I'm down for corny, but he's corny a little bit. A little bit. Okay. Go ahead, White Guitars. Go ahead. God bless each and every one of you. We're so glad to have you here tonight on Talkin Noise Media Platform. We're grateful to be here with you. If you don't mind, grab your Bibles and your church plans, everything you own, put it in your pocket or put it in our collection. I'm sorry, just be ready for a good show tonight. We're going to entertain you. We're going to inform you. We're going to educate you. We're going to enlighten you to some things you might not have heard before. And it's going to be a good night here on Talkin NOIZ. All right. Why are you making them faces? I'm like Jay now. You making all these faces.
I mean,
What is the faces?
I'll be talking about my accent when I'm imitating people. You do the same thing.
Mama knows I speak fluent white. Fluent. Well diverse than Wahite.
Yeah, your accent is not that believable.
Are you kidding me? I could switch the code up just like that.
Well, I don't know too many black people that cannot switch.
That's all I'm saying, Mama Noise. It's not really about the accent. It's about the mannerisms and the presentation. And I know how to switch that bad boy. Al's good at it too. Al and I used to do it together.
Okay.
Paul, I just heard it. Switch the accents together.
Imagine the technology to generate your own leads.
I'm straight country all the time.
But that's also a nice way to coach with, because you can flow in and out of the
seller tools.
somebody's phone.
Business virtually.
That's gotta be Mama Noise.
No, that's me.
Oh, that's Albie? Okay.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm waiting on my apology. You always assume.
I could not wait. A story popped up. I could not wait to hear, but now I'm going to wait since I know you heard that. I didn't think you heard that. Herschel Walker comparing himself to Barack Obama.
Oh my God. That could be the biggest lie that's ever been told in the history of time.
Well, from him, no, because he told a reporter that he was the valedictorian of his class. That was untrue. He told a group of listeners that he was in the top 1% of his graduating class. That too was untrue because he didn't graduate from the University of Georgia.
Does he think we're all idiots and that we don't have computers? Like, what is his problem?
So, but I'll listen to it later. I apologize, Mama Noise.
Oh, no apologies necessary. I'm glad you brought it up. I wasn't aware of the story. Yeah, no apologies necessary. I wasn't aware of the story, so I'm glad you brought the story.
Apologies to Mama Noise because she got blamed for my shenanigans.
See that there? See?
Well, that's just this time. She
Wow.
Mama Noise, you know you're gonna do something at some point. We're gonna let you slide today, though.
You know what? I know apologies like sour in your mouth where you just don't want it to come out.
Mama Noise, wait a minute. Pause. Like hella pause. What are we talking about right now?
That apologies must be sour is why you won't give me one.
We apologize to you. What's wrong with you? You got your apology, home slice.
No, Al said you mean apologize to Mama Noise. And you ever talking about she'll do something later. She'll do something that merits one.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mama Noise. I'm sorry. All right, I apologize for you. You feel better now?
Thank you.
All right.
I feel better.
Come on, Al.
So much better.
My clap is off. The delay is my clap off, but that's fine. So listen, we got a good show. We got a good show coming up here. And a unique perspective, I think, on tonight's topic. One that I have not heard anywhere else. So this will be good. Because some of y'all probably saw the poster from production was like, how are they comparing Kyrie and Takeoff? Well, in the only way that we can, because that's what we do here. We bring the comparisons together. So we'll get to that here in just a second. Black Friday tomorrow. Saturday is Uncorked Wine. I do want to let the people know that our last show for November, or not November, well, the last show before the week of Thanksgiving, because we're going to take the entire week of Thanksgiving off. We've never done that before. But we're taking the entire week of Thanksgiving off. That'd be Sunday to Monday, to the next Monday. We're going to be off. And me and Mama Noise and Al B and Ron and Cuz and everybody, all the shows, we're going to take some time off. We're going to take a week off. So there you go. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you, Al, or ask you, Al. How was your birthday? How was your official birthday yesterday?
It was good. I went to work. It was a typical day for me. I don't do anything special. However, me and the kids, which is also typical, we always go out on my birthday.
Yeah.
Only this time I didn't have to pay.
Ain't nothing like paying for your birthday, right?
As long as you with the ones you love, it don't make a difference. So
exactly.
We had a good dinner, and service was horrible. But
it was horrible?
Oh, my God. It was horrible. But anyway, I digress.
Wow.
Me and kids and my ex, we had a wonderful time, laughed. So it was all good.
Okay. That's cool. That's good. At least you had a good time. At least you had a good time with good people. Like I said,
in front of the Cracker Barrel.
Oh, you went to the Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, I went to the Cracker Barrel. I chose not to go get Italian.
Did you get the dinner or the breakfast? I'm curious.
I only went because of breakfast, but did not order breakfast.
What? What'd you end up getting?
I ended up getting the Southern. Right. End up getting the Southern fried chicken. Somebody had it as I was walking to my table, and it looked like, damn, Miss Greta's back there frying today. I better grab some of this chicken.
Okay.
So it was good. The food was really good. Service was really bad.
Wow.
And the atmosphere was horrible too. They had it set on igloo. Like,
I was freezing in that joint.
yeah.
Wow. But you know what though? Like I said yesterday, the day before yesterday, I think it was a bad meal, which it sounds like this was like a 3/4 good meal or half good meal because the food was good, but everything else was bad. But with good people, makes it kind of a good meal. You know what I mean? Like you still with good people, you're still having fun, so you can kind of almost look over some stuff because you're like, I'm with some people I love and having a good time, so it makes it better.
Right.
So that's good. Well, good, Al. That's awesome, brother. All right, Mama Noise. Why you got that look on your face? Like you doing something else? Like I can see it in your eyes.
I was thinking about that last time that we went out as a family and how one of our favorite places to go on a birthday. We were so looking forward to it, and then our chef tanked.
Oh, he was horrible. He was horrible. One of the worst times
we tried to make the best of it, but I felt some kind of way because, first of all, it's always a particular ethnicity. See how I avoided the button?
Very good. Very
a particular ethnicity is what normally prepares our food in front of us. But this time, this was of a persuasion to the culture. So we was trying to support how people always about, we don't never support each other. Okay, so we was trying to support, but we was like, if this is your day job, I mean, we tried our best. Thank God they didn't ask us how was our experience, because we'd have had to keep it above.
Can I put my Jay Joyner hat on?
Absolutely.
So you went to Benihana's, the Asian dude who normally cooks your food, didn't cook food. You went to the black guy, thought you showed him some love, and he screwed up your meal.
But we didn't go to him as much as
they don't let us
to y'all.
Like you don't get to choose. Like you just get assigned who you get assigned. But I'm gonna just tell you, and I'm probably with the button for this. But like as soon as you pull it up, I was like, oh,
this. God damn, that was racist.
But I'm equal opportunity though. I know
like, is he gonna try his training wheels on
there's certain atmospheres where
No, now was the entertainment part up to par?
No, the whole thing.
So the entertainment with all the knife skills and all that.
He didn't do half of them. He didn't even do half of them. It was like he didn't know him. I mean,
like, oh yeah, let me.
Some of it, I think he was just boycotting. Like,
leads me to a question.
Go ahead.
Is it easier to disguise mediocre food with good service, or mediocre service with good food, or poor? Poor service with good food, or poor food with good service.
That is a great question. Oh man.
Mediocre.
You know what? That's a great question because there's another restaurant that we went to, and I'm gonna give him some love. Shout out to Abuelos. It's a Mexican restaurant that Mama Noise and I went to years ago, and they gave us maybe the best customer service I've ever had in my life. So I don't know if the food was good or not, but I know but here's where it was. It was like when Azari was like a really big small child, she may have been like 2, and he took her order while we were waiting to be seated in his section. And then when we got seated in his section, by the time we sat down, he delivered her order to the table and then took our order. Then went back, got our drinks, went back, got our appetizers, went back, got our food, and everything was so on point. We was just like,
customer service. We have not forgotten the impeccable customer service we had.
That was probably 19 years ago.
His name was Antonio. I didn't forget.
So I don't know if the food was good or not. I don't even remember if the food was good or not. But the service was insanely good.
You like what? He's like, oh, I believe wholeheartedly because he had kids. He said it's always important to get the children started on food first. And I was like, that's a good point because then he's like, here go they coloring, here they crayons, here go the coloring book. I'm like, dude. So he like that gives mommy and daddy a chance to talk. I'm like, hallelujah.
So to answer your question, I think there's a whole lot of truth to that, Al. Great customer service will cover a multitude of sins.
I completely agree. I'd rather have
it was good, but it was much better.
I'd rather have exceptional service. Bad tasting or food I can deal with. Poor service, different.
I don't know. Anthony Bruce said, "I'm paying for the food, and the tipping is for the service."
Yeah, I will never forget the young lady Miranda at First Watch on Dutchman's Lane.
See,
and it's been over a year. I've had First Watch maybe a dozen times prior to that. I've probably had their turkey, sausage, and gravy a dozen times before that. But something about the service on that day made that meal the best meal I've ever had in a restaurant ever.
Wow. Well, I never knew. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never knew the difference until I met Lloyd, and he introduced me to his friend, brother Brian. And Brian was like, I'd never seen anything like it. The type of service that he gave, you'd have thought he was serving the bishop at Red Lobster, because that's the way he served the people. He served them. It wasn't just, I'm waiting. Because I heard the other day, we need to know the difference from being waited on and being served. It's like we all know the difference between Chick-fil-A and some other fast food restaurant. You like, man, y'all need to get like Chick-fil-A. Okay, so Chick-fil-A has put the
I think that's the difference. I think you just answered your own question. That's the difference. When you go to Chick-fil-A, they're going to serve you. Listen, Chick-fil-A was the first place I saw meet you outside in the drive-through line and try to, we're going to try to make this line move a little faster by going down the line and taking the order so that way all you got to do when you get to the window is just pick up your food. That was Chick-fil-A, right?
But I think you answered my question, because once I heard you say it out loud, the words were, when they said, how may I serve you? That's the words they say to you when you pull up to the window, whether you pulling up to the drive-through box or whether you pulling up to the actual window. Either way, they're saying, how may I serve you? Where every other place be like, like, yeah, they don't say yeah or what you want, but when they say, can I help you? Like, I'm gonna help you, but I ain't serving you. And then you're like, clearly there is a difference.
Oh yeah, a service, to me, if I could just define it, service is selfless. Taking your order is selfish. Does that make sense? Because selfish, taking your order means I'm just here to do my job and don't mess with me and don't make me mad.
Right.
And but service is saying, I'm here for you to have an experience that you ultimately may not have had you not come into this restaurant.
Listen,
it doesn't matter what kind of restaurant it is, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's 5-star. I want to make sure that this moment is memorable for you, because I recognize you didn't have to come, you didn't have to be here, and so I want to make it special for you. Just like Al, how long ago you said the first thing was first watch?
Over a year.
That's what I'm saying. The fact that we remember stuff from a year ago, 5 years ago, 19 years ago, whatever it is, we still remember it to this day. And I think I had salmon. I don't even know what I had. I think I had salmon.
Yeah, you did.
But the bottom line is the fact that I remember the service over the food lets you know that was, that's a special moment taking place.
I think it took me, listening to what you're saying and what Al had said, it makes me hear the words now. You know how sometimes you're saying words, but you don't hear the words. All the times you go to restaurants, they say your server will be with you in a few minutes. Or you go to a place and they'll be like, your waiter, your waitress will be here. But everybody didn't come to serve. They came to wait on you or take your order. Like you said, take your order, and that's it. And you're going, okay, well, I'm glad they took my order. I'm glad they're, but only until you actually get served do you actually know the difference. Al remembers that girl's name. He remembers what he ordered and everything because of how she served him. I always remember Brian because Brian, the way I seen him serve his bishop as an armor bearer, but also the way that the people would wait in line just to get in his section so they could be served when he worked as a server at Red Lobster. I was like, people be waiting. He's like, people had no problem waiting. They could eat at any other table, any other booth. But they said, I'll wait so I can be properly served so that when I leave there, I spent my money. I feel good about my money that was spent. And
I don't mean to cut you off, but we have breaking news and it's actually relevant to what we're talking about tonight. So I need to bring this to the attention of the people. So I want to read this as it is stated. I'm going to take the solo here to do so. And I just want everybody to listen and hear because this is what we're talking about tonight on Talk That Thursday. Okay, here we go. This is a statement from the Brooklyn Nets, a press release as of this afternoon. It says, quote, over the last several days, we have made repeated attempts to work with Kyrie Irving to help him understand the harm and the danger of his words and actions, which began with him publicizing a film containing deeply disturbing anti-Semitic hate. We believe that taking the path of education in this challenging situation would be the right one and thought that we had made progress with our joint commitment to eradicating hate and intolerance. We were dismayed today when given an opportunity in a media session that Kyrie refused to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs nor acknowledge specific hateful material in the film. This was not the first time he had the opportunity but failed to clarify. Such failure to disavow anti-Semitism when given a clear opportunity to do so is deeply disturbing, is against the values of our organization, and constitutes conduct detrimental to the team. Accordingly, we are of the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. We have decided that Kyrie will serve a suspension without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of his conduct, and the suspension period served is no less than 5 games. Very interesting, very powerful, very definitive. Now, let me say this, because I had not deep dove into the film, and I still don't necessarily know the film per se, but I did dive a little bit into the film and what the anti-Semitic rhetoric was. One of the probably the most inflammatory thing that was said in the film is that the Holocaust was not real. Now, let me just say this, and this leads us to how it all ties in together. Right now, we have a thing that is permeating throughout our society. We saw it with Nick Cannon. We saw it with, we've seen it with other people who have dove off into, and I'll just say it, call it candidly, that Black people are derivative or have a direct ancestry line through Israel, and there's a Black Hebrew, Black Israelite type tie-in to it all. And there is some historical data that supports that. So that part is not inflammatory or even, dare I say, anti-Semitic. Where it gets uncomfortable, wildly uncomfortable, and racist is when you say that we are the only Jewish people in the world and that things like the Holocaust are not real. Now you are crossing all of the lines. Now you are saying things that simply, quite honestly, are not true. And I don't understand why we must do comparative suffering in order to make ourselves look better. But that's where we are because of this quote unquote woke environment that we are in. Now, people say, well, why did you put this on there and say, are we not woke enough? Here's the comparison. I got a chance to see the TMZ video. There are several TMZ videos along with several first-hand account videos that are out there as it relates to Takeoff's murder. And it is a murder. Let's be clear. And the last one that I saw, which I think may even be the most egregious one, is where they showed that one of the guy who allegedly is possibly the gunman has his hand on the gun while Quavo and somebody else are arguing. You can't see who he's arguing with, but you hear his voice distinctively. And you see the guy with his hand on the gun, right? But also, there may be as many as 20 to 30 people who are standing out here while all this is going on, right? Fast forward to Quavo saying something to the effect of, I'm going to get out of here because I ain't want to do this. Next thing you know, about seconds after that, the gun goes off. And then people start to scatter as they do when guns are shot off in the hood or anywhere for that matter. And then the next thing you know, you see Quavo over the body of his nephew, along with another young lady, along with another guy, trying to see what the heck is going on. But there may be 20 to 30 people that are standing there when the shots go off. I need you to hear that because that's critical to this discussion. They're looking for the shooter. They're still looking for the shooter and who is responsible. So we are to believe that 20 people or 30 people have no idea who fired that gun. Which, by the way, if you go back and watch the video, you hear a female audibly go, oh, no, 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 don't do that, no, no. And then you hear a distinctive scream as the guns are going off. Several screams as the guns are going off. But we're to believe that 20 to 30 people heard this gun go off and nobody has any idea who the shooter is, and the shooter is not in custody as of today.
But here's another. According to the police chief's press conference,
okay,
everyone outside of that bowling alley was present at the private party.
Everyone. So all they did was take the party from inside to outside, probably because they said like, we got shut down.
The venue closed at 2:00.
Right. The venue closed. So essentially, 30 minutes after the venue closed, this happened. So nobody went home.
And he also said that they did find shell casings from 2 separate caliber weapons.
So it could have been 2. So again, we don't really know what happened. here in this moment. But we do know, number one, something happened, and number two, there was at least two shooters, but nobody has been brought in for questioning, and nobody's been. Here's my point: we are not woke at all, as a people right now. Because if we are truly woke in the sense, being woke, matter of fact, I won't even do it that way, because I could make it my own definition, but I don't want to do it that way. I'm not going to use the urban definition of the word woke. I'm going to use the actual definition of the word woke. It says alert to injustice in society, especially racism. Okay, now that's somebody adding that, but I'll bite on it. But alert to injustice in society. Guess what, people? In this death of Takeoff, that's an injustice. In what Kyrie is doing, that's an injustice. That's racist, man. What he is doing is racist. To say that listen, I love what Ernie Johnson said on TNT Tuesday night. He said, and I quote, if you repost it, you are essentially endorsing it. That's what a repost is. That's you saying, hey, to all my friends and followers, I think this thing has merit, or I think it's entertaining, or I think it's funny.
I co-sign.
I'm co-signing this thing, whatever it is. So you're co-signing, and if you co-signing without having watched it, then that makes you an even bigger fool. You're an idiot if you haven't watched this film for real. So one of two things is happening: either you're co-signing and you agree with everything that's said, or you didn't see it and you're co-signing and you're just an idiot. There's no middle ground here. And you say, well, no, there's some stuff I saw and I don't agree with, but you haven't said that. And they've given you ample opportunity to say, bro, we are not woke as we suppose. We're not. What we are is we're fake woke, and we're trying to pass it off as experts listen, this is Nick's problem. This is Kyrie's problem. This is Kanye's problem. There's many people, and I can go down the line. These people who are quote unquote leading us, they're not woke. They're just loud. It's just loud.
It bothers me that we, as a culture, we believe that that's something new. That being woke is something new. Did social injustice just begin? Did racism just begin?
No.
There were brothers, activists back in the 60s and 70s talking about being consciously aware. Being active against social injustice and racism. I mean, I believe even in the early 60s, there were uses of the term woke. So this is not new. Unfortunately, I don't know if y'all remember, Ron made a statement about he and Cuz had gotten into a verbal banter, and he said it's just trendy. This too is just trendy. It's like bell bottoms and platforms.
Yes, but
and that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's hugely unfortunate. And I'm gonna tell you something. My biggest problem with the whole thing is that woke should be indicative of being able to call whatever's wrong. And so the fact that we're picking and choosing and deciding what is racist or what is egregious and what is not lets me know how unwoke we really are.
And see, that's why I like Merriam-Webster's definition of woke.
Yeah.
Aware of and actively attentive to
That's the one I was looking for.
important societal facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social injustice.
Listen, I listened to the press conference that Kyrie did today, and I knew by the end of that press conference, I said, there's no way he survives this press conference. There's no way. If he does, then that means Brooklyn doesn't give a damn about anything but winning. That's it. There's no way a rational human being could keep this guy on a team with this type of thing. He literally may be ending his NBA career in real time. Like, it could be that easy. I don't know how you put him back on the court. I don't know how you
does he backtrack? Does he sit out the 5 games and lose the 1.56, 1.78, whatever? What does he make? Like 450, 500 a game?
Probably something like that. Probably.
So 5 games, that's roughly $2 million, $2.5 million.
But see, the problem, Al, is this: he sees himself as a martyr.
Like he did during the Coco 19.
During the Coco 19 situation. Now watch the comparison. The same way that Quavo, and I'm blaming Quavo. Watch this. Y'all ready for this? That's your nephew, bro. You're trying to tell me you don't know who did this? Of course you know who did this.
Oh, absolutely.
But you're following hood rules. So now, instead of making your nephew a victim, you made him a martyr. He's dying for the hood. He's dying for the cause. He's dying. I don't understand it. I don't understand what we're calling woke anymore.
How many hood dudes have already pulled up in the city of Houston seeking from Georgia, seeking street justice?
Revenge. Absolutely.
It is about to be an all-out war.
Which, by the way, shout out to Deion Sanders, because they got to play at Texas Southern this weekend, and he said we staying in the hotel, we driving from the hotel to the stadium, we get off the bus, play the game, get back on the bus, and go home, and pray to God that nothing happens in between.
I know that this is a strong word, but dare I say that Offset? No, which one is I always get them mixed up. Takeoff is the one who passed away.
Takeoff is the one who died. Quavo was there.
Takeoff.
Offset's the one that left the group.
Takeoff was assassinated. He was assassinated right there in front of all those people, and nobody knows nothing.
You really can't. I wouldn't use that word assassinated.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he was unintentionally, fatally wounded because of the actions of someone else. I wouldn't say he was assassinated. Assassination shows intent.
Right. Hold on, Mama Noise, and that's very true. Forensically, they're saying it was a stray bullet. That's the word that's coming out. So that's what we got to go with.
But it was in the head and in the neck.
Well, torso. They're not even saying the neck. That neck thing was wrong. What I heard today was head and torso, and that was from the medical examiner.
And all that was straight.
Yes, but that's not necessarily uncommon, Mama Noise. Bullets go up, they got to come down.
But I mean, they have surveillance footage from the place of business. They've already reviewed that.
Right.
So they have some information,
but
which is why I think they were able to definitively, say it was definitely homicide, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
And
I would dare use the term assassinated.
Yeah, assassination is a little strong. But let me say this, Mama Noise. Why I understand why you said it, because I agree with you. It's homicide / murder for sure.
Definitely.
Because the gun was shot off in the intent to send a message. So that's why you're saying that. But assassination is the wrong word. That's the wrong word. So just take that word out, use something else. Murder, homicide, we can go with all that.
Because I would say that his fatal injury would have been applied to the young lady and the young man who were also wounded by gunfire.
Right.
But I don't think it was assassination.
But that also I also understand why I'm saying that, because again, I don't agree with the word, but I understand why he's saying it, because the fact that people are out there and they are literally refusing to speak up, because that's where we are now. Let's call a spade a spade. They're refusing to speak up. Now, again, I make the comparison. You say, how does that compare to Kyrie and the woke thing? Because I have not yet heard one NBA player, black, speak up and say, I love Kyrie, great friend, great basketball player. He is dead wrong. I have heard one. You want to be woke, LeBron? You want to be woke, Dwayne Wade? You want to be woke, whoever?
Who are the two dudes? Who are the two dudes that were financial supporters and involved in the Donda Academy or whatever?
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, and then there was another one.
There was another.
Those cats was like, you know what, dude? You out of pocket. We out.
They did say something?
Yeah, they withdrew. That's why the academy shut down.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Why can't we speak up?
In my opinion, that's being woke.
That is being woke.
Yeah, like the definition Merriam-Webster's actively.
So
having knowledge don't mean shit unless you're applying it and trying to get things done.
Listen, you can speak how you want, and I understand why S.Dot's asking that question. So here's what I think he did. You can feel how you want to feel about being a black Hebrew, black Israelite. If you believe that is, and by the way, there's some aspects of that I'm on board with. So I'm not saying that part is wrong. My part that I'm saying is wrong is saying that the Holocaust is not real is the equivalent of saying that the Civil War never happened.
Or slavery wasn't real.
Never happened. Mm-hmm. So that's where he's wrong, bro. And that's all they were asking him to do. Just say, listen, my bad, because I didn't see that part about the Holocaust not being real. And I vehemently disagree with that. If he would have just simply said, I vehemently disagree with that, of course the Holocaust is real, of course, and I shouldn't have been, just on that point alone, I should not have endorsed this film because,
wouldn't we expect somebody that says, I don't believe that slavery was real, wouldn't we expect them to, especially somebody that's has that much influence, to say, okay, like we did with Kanye,
right?
Who was saying that slavery was a choice, and we all like what the what? You know, we didn't say, well, you know, he's entitled to his opinion. What the? Okay, you were saying too much is given, much is required.
And let me say this to answer S.Dot's question, because he asked, has any of you watched the film? I have not watched the film. However, I have researched the film. I have researched journalists who have seen the film. And while there may be points in the film, again, that we as black people would agree with, to say that the Holocaust is not real is egregious. It's egregious. I'm sorry. And we can't excuse that. We cannot excuse that. But I understand what you're saying about that as well, that he said he didn't agree with all of what was in the movie. I agree with that. But my point is, but then if that's the point, if you say you don't agree with all of it, then you have to follow that up with a definitive, man, I'm sorry I endorsed the film. Because if one part, that's no different than if somebody would have said, for those of us who are yes, he did say it. If somebody would say to us that Mel Gibson's interpretation of Passion of the Christ is egregious and Jesus is a fraud, those of us who are Christians would be offended. We would be offended by that.
Mm.
We would be outraged by that. Now, here's the comparison. If someone would have said, if Kyrie would have said, or not Kyrie, but anybody would have said, I saw Passion of the Christ and I agree with everything except for the dying on the cross part. That part wasn't real and getting up from the grave. But that's the foundation of what we believe.
Mm.
That's the foundation.
But do you think that this seems to be just a little too, the timing of this seems to be a little peculiar?
What do you mean?
That he would be, it's like right after Kanye, what he says. And then next thing you know, now Kyrie, sir.
I don't think they're connected in any way.
It's
other than that, you have two guys who are routinely saying things with half the information.
But both of them are to have said it anti-Semitic statements right after each other, within a few weeks of each other, within a few days of each other.
That's just who they are. I don't want to get into me personally. I don't understand where you're going with the timing thing, but I'll say this. Here's where I'm having a struggle with what Kyrie did and with what Kanye did. Hidden in the mess of their statements are truths that we should be discussing. We can't get to the discussions because you're saying stupid shit. That's the problem I'm having. Or you're doing stupid stuff. You can, if you want, Kyrie, if you want to champion a conversation about the connection between Black Hebrewism, is it Hebrewism?
Yes, Hebrewism.
And traditional Judaism as it relates to our society, that is a conversation worth having. It really is. Maybe one that's long overdue. But to say egregiously and again, all they're asking you to do is to apologize and say, I don't support the film because of I know that this thing is wrong.
But here's the thing. Why did everybody need to know that you've seen the film? I done seen a lot of things. I don't go on Twitter.
But it's no different than what we're going to do.
By the way, if anybody cares to know, I don't like this movie because blah, 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 blah. Then it's like, okay, why did everybody need to know that? You already.
But Mama Noise, that's not fair either. Why is everybody going to tweet next week that Black Panther is amazing and everybody should go see it? Because that's what we do. We tweet out stuff that we like, or we tweet out stuff that we agree with. What up, Kyrie? It's good to see you, brother.
What's going on, peoples? What's going on?
Yeah. So I don't have a problem. If that is something, listen. The truth is, free speech is in this country still free, except for the fact that when you say what you want to say, people have a right to respond how they want to respond.
Free speech is free.
It is free. You can say what you want to say, but there are consequences.
Damn.
It is free. Ain't nobody charging us to say nothing today.
As soon as you say something that you thought was free, all of a sudden you get a downpour of consequences. You're like, I thought I can say what I want to say.
That's the answer.
But that's different. What you're saying is different than what the definition of free speech is. Free speech is the right to say whatever it is I want to say.
Exactly.
Free speech does not speak of the consequence of your statement.
Oh, that's just double talk.
That is not double talk. That's how it is.
And I can freely say it, but then all of a sudden, when we get the thing from Facebook that says someone made a comment about blah blah blah, then next thing you know, we're like, what happened to the people that was watching? Because the powers that be said you thought you could say what you want to say, and it is not freedom of speech.
Mama knows free lunch in the park was free. That diarrhea you got it after you ate it, that was your consequence.
That's what I'm trying to tell Mama Noise. Mama Noise is not understanding that there are consequences to the things you say.
I know it's consequences. That's not what I'm.
You can't argue with free speech. Then free speech is free. White people have a right to call us a nigga if they want to. They have that right. But we have the right to whip their ass as well.
Yeah, when they lose a tooth,
do we?
Consequence.
Do we have a right?
Listen,
but you got a consequence of whooping that ass because your ass to go.
That's the point we're making.
So then, to me, that's not free.
But okay, you can.
Free to me means no consequences.
That's ridiculous.
Then it ain't free.
Mama Noise, what you just said doesn't make any sense because you're trying to say in the world there should never be consequences to anybody's actions.
I'm saying if you're gonna go out and say that I have the freedom to say whatever it is I want, then I mean don't call it free because it's really not free because there is going to be consequences.
Mama Noise,
so it's free. It's a free leeway, Mama Noise. You have free leeway on that speech until the consequence hit, but it's technically free. You can say what you want. You can say what you want, but you got to deal with the repercussions of what you say. Nobody can stop you from saying it.
Okay.
On this here podcast, we can say whatever we want. That's free.
Until
somebody hears what you say.
One word or one statement. Next thing you know, you in Facebook jail.
There you go. That's your consequence. But it was
free though, because I got to say it at that moment. And then clickety clack. Here comes
why are you struggling with this? I don't understand why you're struggling with this. Why are you struggling with this?
Because we be popping off
let me bring
stand in front of the White House and say whatever I want because I'm free. Then they're gonna take me to jail.
Let me bring it closer to home to you. You go into the girls' room and you say, "Hey, I need y'all to clean up this room right now because it's just a filthy mess." And one of the girls snaps off and says, because they PMSing or whatever, and they say, "Look, bitch, I ain't doing that."
First of all, the consequence is going to be some
consequences. Freedom of speech by your
She said what she felt in that moment, but there are consequences to that saying it, and that is loss of life.
Damn, you can't
is
kill
that
her,
not
bro.
true?
Can't kill her.
Well, we're gonna restrain the hell out of her. Let's just say that. But do you understand what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about, Mama Noise. We as a people, the way free speech works or should work in our society, you do have the right to say what you want to say. But the hope and the prayer is that there's an expectation of restraint to be able to say things that are hard to say. And I agree 1,000% with what Esnot said. We are afraid to have the hard conversation, which is one of the reasons why we started this podcast, because we are afraid to have the hard conversations and we need outlets where we can. So if Kyrie wants to get into conversations about Black Hebrew nationalism, about the connection between blacks and whites as it relates to Judaism, that is a fair and honest conversation that we can have. But to disrespect a culture of people and say that their trauma is not real. Stop it, bro.
Did he say that in an interview or something?
Well, by endorsing the film, essentially you're saying, I agree. And by not apologizing, truly apologizing and showing remorse, because that's all people are asking of you. Just show a measure of remorse and empathy toward what you're doing. Because here's the thing. I don't know how Jewish people suffer. I really don't. I really don't. And if I'm being completely honest and transparent, it doesn't feel like they suffer that much. But I don't know that. Other than the Holocaust, I don't know, right? Because I've never lived in their footsteps. So I need to educate myself on that.
Well, and that's no different than the white people saying that they don't understand slavery.
But therein lies the point.
Even when, regardless of.
But therein lies the point that we're talking about. When you don't know, keep your mouth shut. So you're speaking out of pure ignorance at that point.
See, I need to see.
But he's free. He's free to speak whatever he wants to.
He is, and he did, and that's why his ass is suspended at least 5 games.
But see, that's why I need to go see the film. I need to see what he saw. I mean, I really can't say nothing about it until I actually see the film.
Well, and maybe that's part of it too.
So that's the thing. I need to see it because again, it's on a platform, and I ain't gonna say that name's platform.
Mm-hmm.
That actually, technically, they're endorsing it more than anybody because it's on their platform and it's for sale. There's no big endorsement. There's no big endorsement in that.
Put the platform in the chat because I don't even know where it's at. Because I kind of would like to see it myself.
Well,
okay.
I know that anything that Alex Jones is associated with, I could care less.
Oh, is that who put it at?
Yeah.
Oh, I may not see it then.
I mean, the documentary, it's not really a film, it's a documentary.
Yeah,
it's a series of 3, 4, 5, and different people giving their conspiracy theories on multiple different things. Sandy Hook being a hoax and the 9/11 attacks were staged, and so.
Oh no! What is
that's what I thought too. I thought it was a documentary.
The New
it was a documentary.
Order is a documentary consisting of multiple conspiracy theorists giving their opinions, and that's what a conspiracy theory.
Well, I know several Jewish journalists that saw it, and I also know some non-Jewish journalists that saw it, and they all came away with the same impression: like Kyrie is wilding. To be able to put your name on this in any capacity, to put it on your social media in any capacity, you are wilded, sir.
And what Kyrie is saying is, I post a lot of stuff. Doesn't mean that I agree with it. I'm an omnist, whatever that is. I love all religions. So because of that, I refuse to apologize if I offended someone. If you love everybody from all religions, your intent is not to offend anyone based on their religion, then what's the harm in apologizing? Right.
And here's the other part. You don't get to tell me when I'm offended. If I'm offended, I'm offended.
But that's a double-edged sword too, though. But
what makes it double-edged?
But also, I can't control when you get offended, when you don't get offended.
You're absolutely right. But therein lies also the problem. But therein lies also the problem. Because if you can't control it and you don't know if your actions have offended me, when I tell you that they are, you have 2 choices. Either to ignore the offense that I feel like you've committed, or to acknowledge the fact that I am offended and to say, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to offend you. That wasn't my intent. Here's what I was trying to do.
But at the same token, I don't have to apologize if I don't feel that I offended you.
That's absolutely right. Right. No, he's not right. That's not how it works. I can give you an example close to home. Got into a verbal dispute with a guy at work. What we were arguing about? Nothing.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, when I found out that what I had did, in my opinion, man up, grow a set. It's not that serious.
Right.
But I apologize. I was like, I didn't know you were that offended. I apologize if I offended you. Did I say I apologize for calling you a pansy ass bitch? No, I didn't apologize for that. I apologize for offending him.
Hold on.
That's the least you can do as a man. That's the least you can do. Apologize for offending that person.
And well, that I wasn't ready for.
I wasn't ready for the pansy ass though.
And here's what I'm saying when I say that he doesn't have to, because he doesn't. He really doesn't.
But he has to deal with consequences.
But and that goes back to what we said to Mama Noise earlier about the free speech. You don't have to, but we don't have to keep paying you either. We don't have to keep employing you. You don't have to keep working here. We'll do something different. So again, that's the part that makes it free. If you're willing to stand behind the action and not address it from a civil and moral perspective, then they have the right to address you according to your actions. And that's the part that makes it free, Mama Noise. Now, and listen. freedom is a tricky thing in the world because it comes with tremendous responsibility. And some of us understand that responsibility and some of us don't. Some of us think that freedom is an expectation because we live in this country. I expect to have these things. I'm supposed to have these things. And I don't have any responsibility to be a decent person in my freedom. I don't have to do that, which is simply not true, which is how we end up where we are in the Black community as it relates to takeoff. I don't have to, I got to hold the code down. We can't be snitching. Listen, when I really sat back and thought about this takeoff thing, I'm saying, Quavo, that's your nephew. You were right there. You're going to let these people just kill your nephew and you're going to say nothing?
When are we going to be woke and realize that snitching and all that type of stuff is not, it does not help? I mean, not that the being a snitch and all that stuff is.
Let me clarify what Mama Noise is trying to say. I'm not mansplaining. I'm just trying to help my baby out. If you kill somebody in my family, we're not the same. You and I are not the same. So I'm not snitching on you. I'm trying to get justice. That's a whole different thing. Now, let's expand it beyond that. If you kill somebody, period, you and I are not the same. We're not the same. So no, I'm not snitching on you. I'm trying to get justice. Because you just killed somebody, bruh. Sis.
Snitching keeps our culture, the word snitching, all of that keeps our culture in bondage and it holds it back from growing. You can't, we ain't even woke it's like even certain situations that happen. Police and stuff, even when they go into the situation trying to bring the help or trying to enforce law enforcement, they like, oh, well, it's almost pointless to go over here and try to do an investigation because everybody over here is not going to tell us nothing. Nobody over here is going to mention anything because the code of snitching.
How about snitching is synonymous with blackness.
Not just us. I mean, there are other cultures that's just,
But that code of snitching comes from what happens in our house stays in our house. What happens in our neighborhood?
I get it. I'm just saying, man.
Our neighborhood stays in our neighborhood.
And then we wonder why a whole lot of things that come up, they say.
I'm mute out.
Go ahead, Mom.
We don't know who something has happened to someone or somebody. And there are people that are right there, that were there and saw what happened and would rather be loyal to the code of the street instead of telling what they've seen to help some mother that's crying over some child.
Of those 30, 40 people in that crowd, Mama Noise, several of them have gunpowder residue on the items of clothing they wore that morning. That's how close they were to the individual that fired that trigger.
Yep.
Yet, they will not come forward.
And they also use the fear as a reason not to do it.
And by the way, that's a legitimate fear. If you understand the complexity of what this situation is, legitimate fear, very real. Retaliation is very real in our community.
Mm-hmm. But then when it's
that we're the only community that does that.
Right.
And see, if you remember a while back, when a certain person in Houston's nephew was killed, then all of a sudden it was, I need the streets to talk. Now you want the streets to open their mouth and eyes about what they've seen, but then when it's somebody else, it's everybody tight-lipped because they're afraid of retaliation. It's ironic how it only matters when it's at your house. Now all of a sudden, I need anybody who saw something to say something.
We hear that in our community all the time.
all the time.
Nobody's comes forward until it's their loved one bleeding out on the curb. Then they're pleading for the community to come forward to help us bring closure to our grief. But it should be that way all the time.
All the time.
If
Because
we're a community,
we as a community,
yeah.
as a culture, as a people, should grieve every time. Like the mayor of Houston said today, we should hurt every time a young life is cut short.
Yes.
Like it's one of our own. Because it is.
And until we start calling injustice and crime and injustice, this is never going to change. And we have to be as outraged about this as we are about everything else.
But you got to stop celebrating. We got to stop celebrating the crime. We got to stop putting we'll put more on crime and be happy about crime. Free Tyrone, free Junebug. We'll do all that. But
knowing his tail is guilty.
But we'll not jump out there and try to figure out who actually killed the guy who just got killed down the street. There was an innocent child.
Got teardrops all down the side of our face for every life we done took. We ain't tattooing ourselves, so somebody's celebrating you. Somebody
like a badge of honor.
If we're only woke, this is what I was going to say a second ago. If we're only woke when it's the white community being unfair or unjust to the black community, then really we're just daydreaming.
Oh, that's good.
We got to be woke about everything.
Everything.
When it's an injustice against Jews, when it's an injustice against Arabs, when it's an injustice against Asian Americans, being woke is being woke, not just when it affects you directly.
And that's the tie-in. That's the
you almost got to get rid of that word woke.
I hate that
word. We before you pulled up, Ron, we discussed that wasn't new.
No,
they've been using that term since the 60s.
Every one of your heroes, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X, all those guys were woke, but they just didn't call it woke.
Oh, they did. They used that exact term in some instances. Woke.
Yeah, like we should. To me, woke became the new. What would you call it? The militant midget. That's what.
Well, that's like what you said. It's the trendy thing to do.
But here's how foolish we are as a community, right? As a black community, I'll go ahead and put black. As a black community, here's how foolish we are. We've already turned that into an insult, right? We've already, you one of them woke niggas.
Yeah. It came.
We've already flipped
to a negative
to make it into a negative connotation.
Listen.
You know that we do that with all the good stuff. Strong black women used to be positive, now negative. Woke.
Oh yeah, now she's a beep 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 because she trying to act like she got it all together. You don't want her to have it together. She's trying to act independent. You don't want her to be independent. She trying to have her own stuff like she don't need no man. You want her to need a man.
But it goes back. We don't celebrate the positive. We celebrate the negative.
Yeah. Mama knows I'm gonna go back to something you said. Because I see it now a little bit differently. I think I know what you were really trying to say. I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong. The tie-in and the timing of the Kyrie and the Kanye thing is egregious in this nature. It is placed us at a fever pitch to where we feel like our suffering and like I said earlier, our comparative suffering is greater. And listen, if you really, now this I have studied out, so I can speak on this. If you study out the suffering of Jewish people, they have gone through hell. They have gone through hell. And there's no other way to say it. Them concentration camps that Hitler put them in, the reason why he was murdering them over in What's the name? Berg. It's something Berg. I'll get back to it. Yeah, but it was hell. But I don't know if you can compare one hell to another hell. Hell is just hell.
Hell's hell.
Lynching, gas chambers, firing squads.
Cut your foot off.
Cut your foot off, drown you in the river. It's all hell. Nope, none of it's good. So what are we talking about? Why are we trying to make one hell worse than another? So I don't understand why we're doing that. So the timing to me is off or bad because we can't get into the real conversation, Mama Noise, of what Kanye really means or what Kyrie really means because we're not presenting it the right way. There is a way to present this conversation, but it's not comparative suffering. That ain't the answer. That's not woke at all. You're not enlightened because you say our suffering is worse than somebody else's. That's not enlightened. Who cares? Because guess what? Everybody's suffering is worse than others if you the person going through it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna say your suffering is 10 times worse than somebody else's.
10 times worse. Oh, my breakup was way worse than your breakup. Well, to you. Because you didn't go through my breakup. You didn't go through my divorce. You didn't have my cancer, whatever the situation is. So everybody's going to say their thing is worse than another person's thing.
But, when I think about what we said in regard to the word woke, I think of if we were really woke, then the community would not allow someone who shot someone in cold blood to keep walking around. They would all come together and all point the finger. Then there would be there's certain snitches, certain things we're not going to allow in our community. We're not going to allow it. Instead of it being everybody trying to, you can hide in plain sight because ain't nobody going to say nothing. If we're really a community, then we don't tolerate this, and that. And number one is just somebody who does something as egregious as taking a life, and then Kyrie said, then we talk about free Junebug, have a celebration. The Junebug got parole, okay, but are we celebrating the crimes instead of just making a stand and say, look here, we as a people are gonna make a stand. And we're not doing that. We more concerned about, hey, as long as it ain't me and mine. I don't know.
I'll say this. I want to answer S. Dot's question. He asked an interesting question. He says, so Kaepernick offended a lot of people when he kneeled. Does that mean he should have apologized? I've always said this about Kaepernick. That conversation, which he was willing to have, needs to be had in a way that people can hear you.
Also, and I don't think he should apologize, Kaepernick, because he had a conversation that they showed with the guy from the military, and when he got the advice from a guy who everybody said this offends our military, he had that conversation.
That's right.
So to me, his apology was done because he had a conversation with somebody.
But here's where I'm going a little bit different from that, Ron. Because see, here's where I would say this. Because you're saying, well, should he apologize? Not for what he did, but for what happened. Because you got to remember what happened. His kneeling was hijacked by a racist. So the racist made it sound like what he was doing was wrong. So the apology is not an apology in the sense of I did something wrong. The apology is the apology of saying, hey, listen, there was a gross misinterpretation, and I probably should have spoke up louder in that. Because what I didn't hear him saying enough of, in my humble opinion, Donald Trump is hijacking what I'm doing. I'm not kneeling because I'm trying to offend people or hurt people in this, that, and the other, or disrespect the flag. Then go back to what you said, Ron. I was given great advice and wisdom from somebody who served in our military. But what has happened is my act of not defiance, but my act of trying to bring attention and awareness to what we're going through as a people has been derailed as a egregious act of disrespect to all of America, and that's not what it's intended to be.
So really, Trump needs the apology because it was his antics of taking something that was really
he has
a positive. Trump has to apologize. That apology should come from Trump more than anybody else in the world.
Point. He's got to point it back to who really did the offense.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And he's got to be loud, vocal, and consistent about that.
Yeah. But we know the orange man ain't gonna never. And we know the orange man ain't gonna never apologize.
Because see, the way he handled it was he kind of doubled down and was like, my people are being oppressed. My people are this, that, and the other. Again, one of them woke situations. I'm woke and I'm conscious and I'm more conscious than you are. And so I'm going to show y'all that that's not the case. When the truth of the matter is, there are some people that were offended by it, but not for the right reasons. They were offended because someone took the agenda and hijacked it for their own rhetoric.
And in my conspiracy theory, I'm gonna help Mama Noise with a conspiracy theory. When she was asking, it was all this is timing, is all the same. We got elections coming up. Don't be surprised if you don't hear a lot of this come out in a lot of the people's talks when these elections roll through. 2024. Don't be surprised if you don't hear a lot of this for the 2024. Because I don't know what most Jews, I don't know they vote Democrat or they vote Republican.
They typically vote Democrat, typically.
But if you can start turning those votes, that's my, and I'm gonna say it, that's my conspiracy theory, Mama Noise. It ain't nothing to do with Talkin NOIZ. It's my conspiracy theory.
Listen, I don't know
opportunity. That opportunity for them to get something new.
Since you said that, I heard Hillary Clinton this morning saying she couldn't believe she was just totally floored by the political parties trying.
Are you about to do your white woman imitation? Look like you about to do a white Hite woman imitation.
No, I was not. See,
she fought it inside.
She was so floored. I'm trying to choose my words. By what happened to Mr. Pelosi and how different. Whether, I can't remember which group it was, but whomever that tried to make it political.
Mama Noise, that's always. Kyrie is 1,000% correct. And actually, we may have to stop calling you Kyrie because you're not that at all. I know we joke about that, but we can't keep calling you Kyrie because that is not what Ron is.
It's an inside joke, people.
It is an inside joke, but since we ain't letting everybody inside, we just gonna say Mr. Uncle Wine. Because I don't want people thinking that you share similar views in this clown. But you're 1,000 correct, Mr. Uncork Wine. The reality is Kyrie is going to be he's going to raise millions of dollars for the Republican Party because they're going to use that rhetoric and say, why didn't Democrats speak out against him? Why didn't, millions of dollars. Same thing with Kanye, millions of dollars. So that's the name of the game. But I'm gonna push back a little bit, S-Dot, on what you said in that the media hijacks every great cause and makes it something negative. They didn't hijack this one. It's Kyrie's fault. He did this to himself. And people are genuinely offended.
And I get people
genuinely offended.
And I totally get that. And I always hate to push on the other side, but if this video has been out there and on this platform for as long as it has,
right?
How in the hell is it just now that he said something is getting all the hype, but somebody who's making money off of it, they ain't said shit about?
Well, I can tell you that right. That's easy to respond to. Hold on, I can tell you right now.
Oh,
He put it on Twitter or Instagram. What format did he use? Anybody remember?
I think he put it on Twitter.
He put it on Twitter. Okay, so then I can tell you exactly why it's getting the. Give me 1 second, and I'll tell you exactly.
I get we're gonna pull the numbers up, but the other place that has it, who's making money off of it? Nobody said anything about that place yet.
Well, because nobody cared.
But why would you not?
Nobody cared.
But you should care if that place is because they're really the ones promoting it.
But Brian, people are always promoting stuff that can be considered racist or egregious or whatever. Are you talking about? Yeah, but I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Okay, I just caught what you said. I just caught what you said. My bad. That's what I said. Listen, and you have the right to boycott that platform if you like.
Because if
ain't nobody else boycotting it.
Nobody boycotting it. Ain't nobody even talking about it.
So was the goal, the end game to bring attention to the platform?
No, because nobody.
To
be honest with you, I haven't heard until today. I didn't know it was on that platform.
I'm just saying. Coincidence? I think not.
I don't understand what you're saying now, Mama Noah. Where are you pointing out?
You said nobody was even talking about this film.
Right, but I didn't know it was on this platform.
Didn't you, Kyrie?
But see, here's the thing we gotta be careful. Here's the thing we gotta be careful about when saying that. There's egregious-ish on all platforms.
True. So I'm just saying, is
right.
So are we blaming the platform? Are we blaming the person? Because they can pull it down. By the way, they may pull it down now after all of this.
Or they might be like, look, we ain't had this many views in a long time.
It could go either way.
Hold
on, because y'all got me wanting to see now. Is it on the platform still? What is the name of the thing?
We got traffic,
I had the name of it.
What's the guy's name? Put his name in the chat, Al, and I'll look his name up.
Al did.
Huh? Is it already there?
He put it in the class. I asked him earlier because I couldn't remember the name that he said earlier.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna look up and see if it's still there. Because they may have already pulled it. If they were smart, they did. They were probably like, man, we need to get out of this. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think it's gone.
Listen. It's as quick as a lot of celebrities will post something.
I think it's gone. Did you see it, Ron?
Not today, because my plan was to go watch it this weekend because I wanted to. Like I said, I heard it was a movie, then I heard it was a documentary. So I was like, before I say really anything about it, I want to see what it is.
You gotta buy it. There it is. I see it.
Last I heard you gotta buy it.
Yeah, you gotta buy it.
Well, I figure it's like a lot of celebrities that put stuff on Twitter and then they'll put the tweet up for like 10 minutes.
Well, I don't know. Is this the same?
Take it down.
I'm trying to think, is this the same play? Because this is a different director. This is a different director. So maybe this ain't the same one. Unmute, Al. I'm sorry.
Who do you have?
This is the guy that I'm looking at right now as the director of what you just put in the chat.
No. I didn't put that in the chat.
Or I'm sorry,
Go
Ron.
back.
Yeah, that's what he put in the chat. That's Kyrie's. Kyrie put that out.
That was supposed to be the name of the movie or documentary.
Okay. Well, needless to say, I don't want to spend that kind of money to watch that though.
I just want. I want to see what the.
But Ron, the reality is there's probably a lot of it that we're not gonna say a lot. Some of it is stuff we're not gonna disagree with. And then some of it we're gonna be like, ooh, brother.
Yeah.
You can't say that unless you've seen it.
No, but there's stuff in there that I agree with. I believe that the government is behind some of the things that take place. Like I believe the government's responsible for a lot of the guns getting in our communities. I believe the government's responsible for a lot of drugs getting in our communities. So there are things that I believe agree with in that movie or in that documentary.
You know what? I think you're right. Just like
a lot of shit that you're not going to agree with too. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you're not going to agree with.
And therein lies what we're talking about. How do you? I can't tell somebody in good faith to watch the thing if it's listen. If I go to let's bring this full circle. If I go to the restaurant and the appetizers sucked and the drinks, my cup was dirty and the drinks were watered down and the food was lukewarm, but dessert was the bomb. Did I just attend a great restaurant? All I can say is, hey, the dessert was good, but everything else was terrible. So I wouldn't tell somebody to go to that restaurant unless you're going to get dessert to go.
Like I said, it's all about how you phrase it after you
you had the
restaurant.
Right. And I think that's all they were asking them to do. Rephrase it. Say definitively, this part was I vehemently disagree with it. I don't believe that. That's not where my heart is. That's not where I stand. And I apologize for endorsing the entire film without clarifying exactly the parts I believed and the parts I didn't. I should have done that. I'm sorry, I hurt people. He said that he'll be playing tomorrow night.
Yeah, but I kind of still go back to, so y'all went ham on him, which rightfully so you should. I don't disagree. You should have did what you did. But why are you not going after the other people right now?
But what other people though, Ron? What other people are you talking about?
The director who directed it, the writer who wrote it, all of them. If you're gonna do it all. Don't pick and choose that one name that you want to hit.
But I think they okay. I guess I get what you're saying somewhat, but
because if it's that offensive, but how can you let it stay up? I guess that's where I'm at.
Here's the thing: you have to look at it from this perspective, Ron. There are things that you can't say on this here platform because of the organization
that I represent. Yeah. Yep.
And that's the same thing with Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah. And then I'll also say this.
He went against company policy from a job perspective. 100% agree with that.
But I'm gonna also say this, Ryan. This is also the part you got to remember too. Everything that you see on this particular platform that is on is not uploaded by the company. They may not be aware that because see, I can put up something privately as a business owner. I could load up something and say we're selling this thing for X amount of dollars. Now, the company may not know what the hell that thing is. They might be like, we don't know. Listen, they may not. 9 times out of 10, that company has never seen that film.
I go a little bit with that, but knowing they do pay attention to a lot because there's certain things you upload, they immediately will flag your ass. So they do pay attention to something.
But not in a business thing. If this was on the platform of what is streaming, that's a whole different thing.
No,
but this is
I
on
get
the
that.
platform of purchase. Yeah.
No, I get that. So, but they still watch. But since then, since all this came out, still nothing has been done to take it down.
Well, but yet, and I'm going to say yet, because maybe at some point they might. But I know I'll say this though, taking it down in that regard, boy, that brings on a whole different thing.
But if it's that offensive, and everybody's agreeing it is that offensive, how can it still be up?
Well, listen,
not everybody is offended.
Right.
That's just like the other streaming network that was running the series about the adolescent girls twerking and doing all that stuff. My God, millions found it offensive, but not everybody did. So they chose not to remove it from their platform.
Well, the same thing with my pastor with his last stand-up. Well, not his last one, but the next to last one. Lots of people found it offensive, but not everybody.
And that's why I said it makes this thing such a slippery slope. Because you're coming after him because he put out a tweet about a show, a movie, documentary, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yes, he was a dumbass. I 100% agree he's a dumbass. I mean, he just put a name out of what it was. I don't think he said anything with it. But again, I don't know. I haven't seen the posts, haven't seen the tweets. I'm just going off the stuff I heard. He just put the name of the show out. Didn't say anything else out other than just putting the name of the show out. He didn't say he agreed with it. He didn't say he disagreed with it. He just put the name out. And everybody must have went to go watch it and found out that when they watched it, it was offensive.
Right, because he put it out to 5 million people.
And so the people had to go watch it to figure out. So they had to go pay for it to go see it to figure out that.
Right. That is also true.
So did they complain to the people after they pay for it that this shit needs to come down?
And that I don't know. Maybe. I mean, well, I'll just say this. There has been outrage since he tweeted it. So clearly some people are deeply offended by it because there's been nothing but outrage since he did it.
Right.
So at some point the pressure may come to. Now I understand the commerce side of this because this business, this guy put this thing up to sell for people that want that product.
And he's made 5 million sales. They just made 5 million sales.
Well, possibly. I mean, it could. Yeah, I don't know. But my thing is the commerce side. I understand. I just think they're not in their minds. They're not endorsing it because they're not putting it on their streaming side. Because it's not on the streaming side. You have to purchase it from the commerce side to get it. So, quite a situation, but I digress. I just the wokeness of it all is frustrating to me, or the lack thereof.
What was that? Heavy D? Was it Heavy D? Don't wake me.
Christopher
Williams. Yeah. Let me sleep. If what y'all doing is woke, let me sleep.
Let me sleep. Let me rest peacefully over here in my sleep. So, but the good news is that just right now, Page 6 is reporting that Kanye West is going on a verbal fast. He'll give up sex and porn for 30 days. So I guess that's something. So,
oh, boss! I'm sorry, bro.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
No.
So with that being said, we got to bounce. We will see y'all tomorrow for Black Friday. We're gonna try to console Al for whatever just happened right now. We love y'all, man. We love these discussions. S-Dot, thank you for all your comments, and everybody, man. Thank y'all for your comments. That's what makes the show special.
Thank you for your presence.
Yeah, we thank y'all.
And for your new people, please make sure to like, share, and follow us on the Noisemaker page here on Facebook, or subscribe and like and share on YouTube.
Don't close them out then. Tell them goodbye.
And we'll see you on Black Friday. That's tomorrow. I'll holla.